As we welcome Ohio State to the dais, we'll remind you that this session will be 12 minutes. We'll begin with a statement from Coach, then turn it over to student-athletes for questions. Once we've exhausted student-athlete questions, we'll turn it back over to Coach. And when you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get a mic holder your way. And please, when we're in the student-athlete segment, please direct questions to specific student-athletes if you can. We'll remind you to please silence your cell phone, no flash photography in this area, and we'll begin with a statement from Coach.
Okay, listen, we have a lot of respect for South Dakota State, and I think our preparation certainly defensively was on point. We did not always have as good of attention to detail as we needed to against them, but they're a matchup nightmare in a lot of ways, and give them a lot of credit for how they played. I just thought they kept battling. Obviously, they had the benefit of the crowd behind them. It got loud in there for them, and I thought our guys responded, and Cam's shot down the stretch was critical for us. So players win games, and they did that.
All right, questions for Dakota Bates-Diop and Cam Williams. We'll start right here.
Lindsay Schnell, USA Today, for both of you guys. You shot 40 three-pointers today. Was that in the game plan?
Cam?
Well, I'm going to say yeah, but not really. We knew, if we swung the ball, we would get rotations, to drive to the basket. But we were just taking what the defense was giving us. And, down the stretch, we kind of forced a couple of them. We kind of settled. But, once we got, settled down, we were able to execute like we were supposed to.
Kata?
Yeah, it wasn't really in the game plan, but the game kind of called for it. We have good shooters, and they were, for the most part, open, good shots.
Questions for Cam. Cam, it'd been a couple seasons since this team had been to the NCAA tournament. What did it kind of mean for you, to get back here and not only get here, but get a win here today? What did that mean to you, man?
It means the world. Like you said, Ohio State's been in a drought. And myself, JT, everybody on the team, Kata, we've all been hungry for this moment. And Coach Holtman and the coaching staff has been preaching it to us, just embrace the moment. Because, like we say, the veterans say to the young guys, you never know when you're going to make it back here. So, just embracing the moment and just taking it all in. And hopefully we can go as far as we can.
Kata, you talked about yesterday, you finally were matched up against Mike Daum. What was that like, and was it about what you thought it was, or did he do anything that surprised you?
It was about what I thought it was. He's a tough matchup just because of his size. He's like 6'9". He shoots at such a high arc. So, he's a tough matchup, but it's everything we expected. We did a great job scouting.
Cam, kind of take me through that corner three that you made. You had a guy in your face there. You made it and you get the shot to go down. Then you score the next 7 points. So just kind of take me through that run that you had there, man.
I just give all the coaching staff the credit. They called the play for me. They had enough confidence, to do that down the stretch. And as hard as I work, I feel like every shot's going to go in. So my confidence, is never going to be shot. So, as soon as I let it go, I felt like it was going to go in. And when it just went in, it just felt great. And then everything just kind of got rolling from there.
This question's for both of you. Now that you've had a game, there's a lot of talk about whether the long break would be helpful or hurtful. Do you have any opinion on the impact of the longer break?
Keita?
We won, so I feel like it was good just because we fine-tuned some things, especially on defense. We had a lot of time to get back to basics and get back to our defensive principles specifically, but I think it did help in the end. We won the game. So.
Cam?
Yeah, I think it definitely benefited us because, the way we went out in the Big Ten tournament, that made us more hungry. We had to, like Kata said, we had to, fix little tweaks that we had in the games previous. So once we did that and we got our game plan together, we felt like we'll be here for a while.
Kata, you guys, in that second half, it seemed like they were kind of maybe about to go on a run, but you guys scored 16 unanswered points. What did you guys kind of do during that run to really kind of put some separation between you guys?
We just try to stay poised. It's a game of, ups and downs and runs. So we won our run, obviously, and we just kind of played our game.
So rematch with Gonzaga. That game seems forever ago, but what do you guys remember from that PK80 game?
Kata?
Like you said, it was a long time ago. We're two completely different teams, especially us. I remember they were, obviously big and long, but they killed us on the three-point shooting. I'm pretty sure. So we're trying to touch that up, obviously. But that was months ago, and those not even close to the same team.
Cam?
Like Kata said, we're nowhere near the team we were back then. We've progressed in so many different areas, and the whole team, is excited for this one. We've been wanting this matchup ever since the bracket came out. It's a revenge game, so hopefully when we take the court, they feel us because they didn't feel us in the first game.
A question for you, Kata. Everyone knows about you, Big Ten Player of the Year, but what was it like for you to kind of see, not only Cam, but CJ have just a monster game, especially in that second half? Like, those two seem to kind of really take over in the second half. What was that like for you to kind of see those two players, and what do they kind of mean to this team?
I wasn't surprised at all. Like I said, I think yesterday in media, this isn't like a one-man team in any sort of way. But I trust my guys. I trust Cam to shoot the shots he took, and CJ to take over a game in the middle of the second half like he did. We just kind of played through each other. I get a lot of credit sometimes, but this is a team. This is a great team.
All right, we'll dismiss Ohio State student athletes. Thank you, guys.
Thank
and
you.
We'll once they've left the stage, we'll turn it over to Coach Holtman. Coach Holtman. Thank you, guys.
Good job, guys. You're good.
All right, questions for Coach? Let's start right here.
Chris, were you surprised when you looked at the stat sheet and saw 40 three-point attempts? You
Sure.
only average 19 attempts per game.
Yeah. It's not really who we are. It wasn't the game plan. It's really difficult because they're literally giving you tee-up threes. And I think they knew we like to, we like to play inside out. And they were taking away all the interior stuff that we wanted to do. We have got, I probably took issue with about 8 or 9 of those threes, honestly. So if we were at 30 or 32, I'd probably been, it's that tough thing as a coach where you're really trying to figure out, okay, are we going to get a better shot than a wide open 1-2 step three? In talking to coaches in the past, we knew they were going to play us like that here. We didn't always make the ones that we had open, but certainly 40 is too much for us.
Coach, can you just talk kind of about Cam's heroics there? 7 points that really kind of iced the game there for you guys. Just to kind of talk about his play down the stretch for you guys.
It was great. One of the assistant coaches, Ryan Peden, had a call on an action that we run for him. We were struggling there late. We were saying, hey, somebody's got to want to make a play, and someone's got to take an open look and make an open shot. And he's that kind of a kid. He wants the ball in his hands in those moments, and he's got that look in his eye. And I thought Kata did a really nice job screening for him. They were late, and Andrew Dockage did a nice job tipping out. And I really, the bench is screaming, pull out when he gets the tip out, offensive rebound. The bench is screaming, pull it out. But when you have a guy that can shoot it like him, I don't know if you're going to turn the off switch there in that moment. So I was kind of happy he took that shot and got fouled.
Coach, Andrew Dockage seemingly never left the floor in the second half. What did you think of his performance today?
Good. Andrew's given us a lot of quality minutes. He's glued our team together in a lot of ways. He's connected our team in a lot of ways. I missed some open looks, had 1 or 2 defensive errors when it comes to attention to detail, but Andrew has been terrific for us. Terrific. And he was terrific again tonight. He really was. He's hard for me to, I don't know if I'd have thought this going in the season, but when we put him out there, a lot of times he's hard to pull off the floor.
Coach, in that second half, it was pretty tight, but then you guys went on that 16-0 run. Just when you look back, how big was that run for you guys there to kind of maybe set the tone of the game in the second half?
Yeah, I think you can't ever get a whole lot of separation with these guys because, listen, I've watched them against Wichita State and Colorado and Ole Miss and Iowa. You just hard to get separation on them because of how their ability to make threes at such a high clip. They're so proficient. So to get a little bit of separation and then kind of keep them at bay, and we knew that it could get tight late. Again, I think we anticipated a road-type environment. I don't know that we anticipated that it would be quite as loud as what it got. Maybe I should have prepared them more for that. But it was great to see our guys respond.
Coach, how does the fact that you played Gonzaga earlier this season affect your preparation for Saturday?
Well, it's two different teams in a lot of ways right now. I've got so much respect for them after playing them. You know, I'd never coached against a Gonzaga team before. Mark does such a fantastic job. They're physical, they're tough, they're very talented. I thought that they're one of the top one or two teams we played all year. I mean, they are one of the very best teams we've played all year. They handed it to us. So we'll go back and we'll watch that, how much they've changed and we've changed. I don't know because I didn't follow them as much. But we'll obviously need to be a lot better. They smacked us around pretty good.
Last question right here.
Coach, in that first half, you know, Dom had 17 points, but in the second half, I thought you guys did a better job kind of containing him. He only had 10 points. Did you guys feel he did a better job kind of limiting him and what he could do in the second half for you guys?
Yeah, and I didn't think we did it. Obviously, you did, but I didn't think we did a terrible job in the first half. We probably weren't as good. We left him open a couple times off of offensive rebounds, and then we had a couple slip-ups. He's just a really, really good player. Man, he's a really good player. And when he gets driving it downhill, he's a load too because of his size. But I thought our attention to detail was a little better in the second half, and we had about 4 errors with him in the first half, and then the second half we had maybe 1 or 2.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay,
we'll have
thanks,
South
guys.
Dakota State up in just a moment. Thank you, Coach. Congratulations. Check. Here we go.
That was a very high-level basketball game. A lot of credit to Ohio State. They played differently than they play each game. They decided to go small, switch a lot of screens, and I thought that was a great coaching adjustment, and credit to Coach Holtman. I think he does a phenomenal job, and their guys did a great job. At the same time, really proud of the young men in our program. We didn't come here for a moral victory. We certainly didn't come here to lose. At the same time, we got ourselves in some tough spots, down 13 in the first half, down 10 in the second half, and brought it back, which I think speaks volumes to the character of the guys that I'm fortunate to coach each day. In the end, they made more plays down the stretch than we did, and they came out with a win, and credit to them.
All right, questions for South Dakota State student athletes.
This question's for Mike. You were matched up against Bates Diop for a lot of the game. Did anything he do surprise you, or were you pretty sure of what he was going to do throughout the game?
Bates Diop is a great player. For him to be able to shoot like the way he does at that height makes him a tough guard. And then his ability to take you off the dribble. When I was on him, I just tried to keep my chest in front and contest any three-pointers he was taking.
The question for all three of you guys. You guys, they go on that 6-0 run. The game looks like maybe it's out of hand a little bit, but then you storm back 10-0 run there. What did you guys do to kind of get yourselves back in the game here? And what does it kind of say about this team to just, not give up and make it a ball game there late?
Reed, let's start with you.
Yeah, it just shows the togetherness of our group of guys. We've been together. We fought through a lot of adversity throughout the whole year, they made their push, and then we kind of fought back. But in the end, they hit big shots, so you got to give credit to them.
David?
We just made sure we kept a fast pace throughout the whole game. We knew that, they're a bigger, strong team, so we knew that we'd have to go and push it at them up and down the court. So we just tried to keep that to our advantage, and we kept doing that throughout the whole game, and I feel like that helped us throughout.
Mike?
Just to kind of reiterate what Reed said, it just shows how together our team was. No matter what was going on in the game, we just always huddled together, kept our game plan stuck for each other, and we were able to kind of get ourselves back into it.
Mike, I know you had a big first half, 17 points. Second half, only 10. Were they doing something to kind of limit you in the second half? Were they making some adjustments there, guarding you in the second half? Or what were your kind of thoughts on that?
I think they pressed up more when I was out on the perimeter, kind of forced me to take more contested threes than anything else. And then, I tried to go into the paint a little bit in the second half there, too. So I thought they did a good job of adjusting from the first half.
Reed, when you look back on the season, on your career, I guess, how much will it eat at you that you haven't got an NCAA tournament win yet?
It's awesome that we've made it to 3. It's always going to hurt that could never get a W in this environment. But, I just look back. The guys I get to play with, the coaches I get to be coached by, I would not rather be at any other place than South Dakota State.
David, their guard play was really good tonight, between CJ and spacing the other guy's name. But, the 42 points, just how big was their guard play today, and what did you kind of see from their guards?
The guard play was really good tonight, and I felt like they kept a really good pace as well, getting downhill. We tried the best we could to make sure we kept our chest in front of them, but, the guards stepped through, and so did some of their bigs. So I felt like, just like Coach said, they went small ball, and they took that to their advantage.
Last question for student athletes.
Mike, a big decision on your future NBA or otherwise coming up. Just take me through the timeline that you plan on doing for that.
Honestly, I haven't really thought much about it. I got to kind of let this settle in for me. I got to finish my school this year, so make sure I get my credits all done, and I'll worry about it when it comes down to the line a little later.
All right, we'll go ahead and dismiss South Dakota State student athletes and say thank you. And when they've left the stage, we'll turn it over to questions for Coach Otzelberger.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, questions for Coach?
Coach, kind of, they went on that big 16-0 run there, but you guys fought back. Just what were you guys able to do to get yourselves back in the game and give yourselves a chance to win it there late?
I think our guys, we've played all year, faster style of play, and when you do that, there's runs both ways. And we talk about moving on to the next play. We know we have a lot of spurt ability offensively that we can score in a hurry as well. So our guys keep their composure in those times, share the basketball. We know it's going to come back around, and had it happen to us twice in this game.
TJ, I know obviously not the time to reflect back on the season as a whole or some of these individual players' careers, but when you say goodbye to players like Reed and Lane and Ian, just how much have they meant to this program and you as an individual, and what will be your lasting kind of memory of those guys?
First of all, I'm thankful to those 3 because from the first day I came in, they bought in everything we wanted to do. They've been unbelievable teammates and workers, great students, great citizens, and so I've got a tremendous amount of respect for all three of those guys, and they're all going to be missed. They did something that many of us aren't fortunate enough to do. They came into a place that had experienced success, and they took it to another level. They'll always be remembered as a group that left that Jackrabbit jersey in a better place than it was when they came in. And they'll always be welcome back around our program and part of the family. And we hope that this is just even though they're leaving us in terms of eligibility, that they're part of our extended family moving forward. And we'll see a whole lot of those three guys.
TJ, kind of same question that I posed to Reed. Just how much is it going to start to get to this program that you still haven't won a game in the tournament?
Yeah, I think our focus will continue to just remain on doing what we can to improve every day and be at our best. And we're not, a program that's looking at it as much results driven. We certainly have a high expectation for what we can do and what we can accomplish. But it's not going to be something that, overshadows all the tremendous things that these guys have accomplished on the court, in the classroom, in the community. So it's, anytime you lose, it's not what we're in this for. We play to win, but I don't think that'll overshadow what these guys continue to accomplish on a daily basis.
Coach, did it feel like a home game in there tonight? I mean, how much did the fan support help you guys?
Yeah, I thought it is a great feel. It's an awesome college venue. We're fortunate that we had tremendous fan support, that they came out, and we've been lucky with that all year long, that we have such loyal fans, and I think a few others maybe jumped in with us as well for one reason or another. I'd like to think our guys showed some fight, and they're a fun group to pull for, but it was exciting, and our guys certainly fed off that energy.
We have time for two more. We'll start right here.
Coach, I know you kind of talked briefly about it, switching to small ball, but it was mainly, CJ and Cam. They combined, for 42 points. Most of that came in the second half. I mean, how big were those two, in the second half? How much difficulties did they kind of give your defense there?
Yeah, they did a tremendous job. I mean, those guys are really good players. And then, certainly Cam at the end stepping up, hitting the big three and getting the 4-point play and the foul shots. I mean, their coaches, you can tell they're very well schooled, they're very well disciplined, and those guys stepped up and made big plays throughout the second half. But none stand out more in my mind than those plays late that Cam made that were instrumental in separating them to get the victory.
All right. Thank you, Coach. We'll remind you that the South Dakota State locker room is open. See Andrew Sohn for help.